Major funding for A Taste of Louisiana with John Folse and Company is made possible in part by Zatarain's authentic New Orleans-style dinner mixes. Zatarain's, a good way to jazz up dinner and a real New Orleans original since 1889.
Louisiana. She's the exception and never the rule. She's a mystery that asks not to be solved, but simply to be experienced. Louisiana, where you can come as you are and leave different. Additional funding is provided by the Friends of Louisiana Public Broadcasting and the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting.
What should one say when trying to describe the magnificent landscape of Louisiana to, say, an out-of-town friend? Well, I suppose you could do what Mark Twain did. Tell them about one of those Mississippi River paddle wheelers leaving the port of New Orleans on its way to Cincinnati. Or you might want to tell them about our beautiful antebellum architecture. Y'all, it's gorgeous. But what about the Spanish moss hanging over the limbs of those 400-year-old live oak trees? Well, I tell you what, I don't think words will ever adequately describe the Bayou State once you've experienced it firsthand, once you've been here in person. I tell you what, I would love to hear you try to describe this little view of Eden. Go ahead, let me hear you try. I'm Chef John Folse. Welcome to my swamp floor pantry. Welcome to Acadiana, the home of Bois de Chenes bed and breakfast. The Atchafalaya Basin is sought after by photographers and nature lovers alike on a daily basis. Y'all, how about absorbing this beauty of nature for a moment? From cypress moss-draped trees to our friendly little bayou country pets. Ah, what a postcard. Charles Mouton chose this fantastic setting for his Acadian-style plantation home built back in 1820. Known today as Bois de Chenes, which simply means oak woods, the name is quite understandable once you enter the gravel driveway leading up to this unique B&B. What a gorgeous place to visit and spend the night. Area native and retired geologist Coerte Voohries and his wife Marjorie know just how to set up a farmer-style breakfast table for overnight guests. It isn't fussy or fancy, it's Cajun country elegant. This sunny, window-walled room overlooks the courtyard, and here are displayed many of Marjorie's favorite antiques. The main house features 2 complete suites with 4 upholstered mahogany beds. Each of these suites accessed a 150-year-old balcony. The Zouave suite features a wood-burning fireplace and exemplifies Coerte and Marjorie's mission to preserve the original configuration of the Mouton plantation house. Y'all, what a capsule of Louisiana history is buried in these walls. The beautiful little carriage house sits across the courtyard from the plantation and features 3 suites, each with a private bath and furnished with treasured antiques of different periods and styles here in Louisiana. So come and visit Acadiana soon and experience the unique setting of the Atchafalaya and become absorbed in a taste of nature and beauty at Bois de Chenes B&B. What a gorgeous plantation home, y'all, built in the 1820s, sitting in the heart of Acadiana. You've seen it. Can you resist it? You have to get over there and spend the night with these 2 wonderful people. It's absolutely a fantastic place right in the heart of Cajun country. Make sure you put it on your itinerary. What about the foods in that area? Well, of course, that area is synonymous with the finest cooking in America, and people have traveled millions of miles to come and experience the foods that were developed within probably 5 miles of that home. And one of the greatest dishes that I enjoy cooking and certainly enjoyed there, but have cooked in my own home for many, many years, is a great redfish sauce piquant. And the word sauce piquant, of course, means exactly as it sounds, nice, hot, spicy. And most people think Cajun and Creole is hot and spicy anyway, but this particular dish certainly fits the bill. Take a look at my platter here, this nice colorful platter. It has about, I guess this must be about a 4 or 5 pound redfish. Believe it or not, this little bad boy will get up to about 45 pounds. And yes, they are on the endangered species list today, so we can only take about 6 of them on a fishing trip out of the waters. But boy, is this a fantastic fish to make a nice courtbouillon, soup, or throw on the grill or anything else. Now look, I've filleted them and got 2 nice fillets sitting in this gorgeous cast iron roasting pan right here. And you notice the green onions on the bottom? That's to keep the fish from sticking when I put it into the oven. I don't want to get those fillets right out of there. It's a nice little tip. So let me show you how to make the sauce piquant. I have here in my cast iron pot a nice dark brown Cajun roux that's equal parts of oil and flour cooked to this mahogany color. Y'all, I want to paint my bedroom this color. This is absolute. I wish you could smell it. It's fantastic. Into the roux, I'm going to go ahead and put a little tomato sauce, because sauce piquant is actually kind of rusty in color, a really, really nice kind of a burnt orange color almost. See how hot this cast iron pot cooks? That's why you want to do sauce piquant in cast iron, y'all. Now I'm going to put in some of the spice. I have a little bit jalapenos. I also had some serrano peppers on that nice big tray you saw. I had some jalapenos, of course, some habaneros were on there as well. All of those peppers work really well in sauce piquant. This is Creole tomatoes that I just put down into that roux to give more of that great Creole look to the pot. And of course the peppers will spice it up nicely. And now, y'all, onions. How much onions? As much as you love. My grandmother told me the more the merrier. So that's what I'm going to put into the pot. Onions, celery, bell pepper, the trinity in Louisiana cooking. Of course, I'm going to add some red, yellow, orange bell peppers because I think they make a beautiful look in the pot. And how can you do a sauce piquant without some really nice garlic and a lot of it? We love garlic in Louisiana cooking, so I'm going to put a couple good tablespoons in there for you. Now, once all of this flavor kind of cooks together in the pot, this is the basis for our gumbo. This is the basis for our sauce piquant, our creoles, all of those nice flavors. I'm going to get rid of my whip here and go to a nice spoon to be able to stir this, because now I have to add my stock. And the stock is a nice fish stock. I want you to look in my little porcelain pot here. This is a stock made with the bones and the head of that nice redfish once it was filleted. And you can imagine the amount of flavor coming out of this wonderful pot now that I'm adding this rich fish stock to the roux. And of course the roux will thicken, a cup of roux will thicken about 2.5 quarts of fish stock to a perfect sauce consistency, really nice sauce. And I know this pot is hot and steamy, but I want you to take a look at this nice rusty color inside of the pot. Isn't this gorgeous? I mean, I could put this on a piece of French bread right now and eat it. Now, of course, if I was making a gumbo, I may have left out a little bit of the tomato and put a little bit okra into it. But basically, the sauce piquant and the gumbo is pretty much the same dish up to this point. Now that the sauce is done, I would let this cook for about 40 minutes for all of these flavors to develop, and then it becomes my sauce. I could also do the sauce piquant right on the stove, put the fish right in here and let it quickly saute or braise, I guess I should say, right in the pot. So y'all, now I'm gonna take my cast iron pot and my ladle, and I want to go ahead and take some of that nice sauce piquant. Follow me here, y'all, it's great, right on top of the fillets of fish. Take a look at that. Isn't this good enough to eat? You better believe it is. Right into the cast iron, and y'all, I'm going to go into about a 350 degree oven. Just come on with me here. 350 degree oven for about 30 minutes. just so that the fish fillets kind of poach well in that sauce and pick up all of that great flavor. And nothing in Louisiana is better. Take a look at what the finished dish looks like over here. Just absolutely beautiful. And of course, look at those lemons. The garnishes are really nice. Now, y'all, the next dish that I want to do for you, a dish which is perfect for breakfast in Acadiana, is blackberry crepes, another dish that I found at Bois de Chenes. Now, I'm going to use these wonderful little crepe pans that you see here. I have some nice little crepe pans that they kind of have a nice shape to them, and they really hold the batter nicely. And I want to show you how to make the crepe batter. First, I have 4 eggs that are just kind of whipped in the bowl here. I'm going to add a little bit flour, about a cup. Just kind of throw that flour in there because this is kind of like a pancake batter. Just kind of whip that around a little bit. A tablespoon or so of sugar. You want to whip that in because this is a sweet crepe with blackberries, and just continue to whisk it until all of the lumps are gone. Then I'm going to add a cup of milk. Just kind of pour that in, and you can season it with cinnamon and nutmeg, and I'll just kind of give you some ideas. Cinnamon, nutmeg, a little vanilla, and of course your favorite brandy or liqueur. I'm going to use something like Grand Marnier in these crepes. Are absolutely wonderful. Once it's all whipped together, go ahead and put it in the refrigerator overnight. That's going to make the best crepe, and I have some batter already done. So follow me over to the stove here, and hopefully my little crepe pan's going to be nice and hot. I'm going to add some butter to it, and you can use oil if you want to, but you want to get your pan hot enough for that crepe to start to cook very quickly once it hits. You want to kind of glaze the bottom of your pan, get it nice and hot, and then pour the oil out because you want a nice coating on the bottom of the pan, but you don't want so much oil that it affects the crepe. Now, the batter comes out of the refrigerator overnight, and you want to put about a 2-ounce ladle right into the pan, and I'm going to put 2 ounces down in there. Whew. Listen to that good sizzle. Y'all curve the pan, swirl it around like this. And while this crepe is cooking, I can make a really, really fast little blackberry sauce. I have some water in the pan here. I'll throw a little sugar down into my water. I'm making a little simple syrup. And then look at these blackberries. Oh, absolutely magnificent. Take a look at these gorgeous berries, y'all. These are so full of sugar coming out of the Louisiana bayou landscape. I love to pick them. I used to actually pick these by the bucket, sell them for 50 cents a bucket, and that gave me the money to go to the state fair. Hey, I was an entrepreneur in the early days, you know it. Into my simple syrup, a little of these beautiful blackberries. Look at that. Now, of course, you could also put, if you want, you could put a little liqueur in here. This is the filling for the crepe. I'm going to thicken that up once it comes to a really nice boil here. I can thicken it with just a little cornstarch, and I'll go ahead and kind of whisk that around. And my crepe is getting nice and fluffy. Take a look at that crepe, y'all, so you can see how it's looking in that skillet. It's starting to puff up around the edges. You know good and well that it's about done. So I'm going to swirl this pan around again, and let me see if I can pull that little crepe. You want to just run a little knife right around the bottom here and put your fingers right under it. Don't be afraid, and flip that baby over just like that. How you like that, huh? Just beautiful. Now, y'all, the simple syrup and the blackberries are just about done. So I'm going to come over here and show you exactly what those crepes look like when I roll them up with that nice blackberry filling and put a little whipped cream in there. Hey, get decadent, y'all. Take a look at my crepes right here on the plate. I'm going to add a little bit of that beautiful blackberry syrup. Oh, look at that. Is that crazy or what, huh? Now, whipped cream, huh? Not a little bit. This is breakfast in Louisiana at Bois de Chenes. Throw a little bit extra on there. And then, of course, powdered sugar? Of course, powdered sugar. What are you talking about? This is breakfast. Look at that. Could you eat or what? Huh? Could you eat? This is absolutely magnificent. The foods of that area, the foods of South Louisiana, in and around the Lafayette area, are sought out, as I mentioned, from all over the world. The greatest chefs of Louisiana come from that area. Now, you know, I'm about 20 miles out of that area, but I just got great just on the fringes, you know what I mean? But anyway, all of the great foods like the sauce piquant, the gumbos, the creoles, all of those wonderful things came out of Acadiana. Now, Coerte Voorhies was good enough to leave Bois de Chenes and take me on a boat trip into Lake Martin, which is a part of the Atchafalaya Basin, to show me one of the most unique sights in the South, a bird rookery that is unlike no other. Why don't y'all come with us? Kurt, we're in the middle of the swamp, somewhere between Lafayette, Louisiana, and Burro Bridge. Describe this area to me.
This is the Cypress Island Lake Martin system, which is an oxbow of an ancient Mississippi River when it was here about 4,000 or 5,000 years ago.
Now there's a spectacular occurrence happening right next to us here. What exactly is going on back here?
This is the largest wading bird rookery in North America. It probably has more white ibis than any other place, and has well over 70,000 pair of birds nest here, approximately 25 species every year.
Geez, 70,000 pair?
Yeah.
Now, is this an area protected by the state of Louisiana, by the federal government? Or?
There are state and federal laws which are very difficult to enforce because they need to have some teeth written into them. And actually, except for a few dedicated people, nobody's really riding herd on this. This is a Louisiana treasure that has to be saved, and it has to be done now.
Well, how many people know about this?
Ecotourism, which you know is a growing business, it's getting to be fairly well known. As you notice, as we came out here, there was a whole busload of birders on that bus. You get Audubon Society clubs and so forth that'll come here to look at them, but until it's controlled, we really don't want too much publicity.
Right. Now, I know you bring tours, you bring tourists who actually stay over at your bed and breakfast out into the swamplands. Is this one of the areas you like to take them?
This is my favorite. I have about 7 areas, 6 of them in the main Atchafalaya Basin itself, and depending on water levels, the availability of animals and so forth, I will go to these different areas. But in the spring through early summer, I like to come here because of the bird life.
Yeah, it's absolutely spectacular out here. What the tourists, when they see this for the first time, I mean, is this their impression of Louisiana, or is it something totally different?
Well, you know what the movies do about swamps. They all want to take a bath in insect repellents or the mosquitoes, but if you notice that I have short sleeves and shorts on, and no mosquitoes out here. Don't stay out here until after the sun goes down. It changes a little bit, but during the day you'll never get a mosquito bite.
Now, for a guy who grew up in Lafayette, a guy who spent all of his life, or at least a good portion of his life near the swamplands, is this as good as it gets?
I don't think there's an area any better than this. As you know, we saw some magnificent mature growth cypress trees. There's a major cypress swamp with the Spanish moss on it, and with cypress tupelo, and then this area here with all the birds nesting. You just will not see anything like this anywhere else in the state of Louisiana.
Well, Kurt, I want to thank you so much for allowing us to see this, and of course for sharing it with all of my viewers. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you.
Y'all, you might think I'm a lucky guy to have been chosen to go into that wildlife area of South Louisiana with Kurt, but hey, it's your option too. Once you visit Bois de Chenes, if you want to take a ride into there, he'll certainly take you all through those areas, as you heard him say. And what a magnificent place. Only 3/4 of a square mile, but 70,000 pair of birds come in to lay. And you figure what, 2 eggs apiece, 2 little babies? 250,000 birds leaving Louisiana to just bring color and glory to the rest of the world. Hey, it's our gift to you. What the heck? Let me show you a couple other really nice things that I picked up at Bois de Chenes, because Marjorie is such a great cook with good ideas. She shared with me 2 of her really interesting dishes. Another one, not only is it a breakfast dish, but it's kind of something you might sit around on one of those beautiful galleries with a cup of coffee and taste her orange crisp. Take a look at these little toast points. The orange crisp, just little thin slices of bread, almost like Melba toast, and then they're glazed with butter that's been flavored with sugar, orange juice, orange zest, baked off until they're nice and crispy, and then you can eat them. They kind of crunch, as I say, like a little piece of Melba toast. Boy, what a nice snack. And then the Braised Doves Evangeline, y'all. Isn't this absolutely fantastic? Beautiful braised doves out of the Atchafalaya area of Louisiana. And I was also lucky to get one other great cooking lesson, a cooking lesson from Marjorie and Ambry LeBlanc on exactly how to make oyster and artichoke pastries, or patties as I call them. Hey, come on and see how we did it.
And look at those onions. When they get clear like that, we know that's going to taste good, Ambry.
Like that?
Like that one right there.
All right, hey, how are y'all doing? There y'all
John,
are. Huh?
how are you?
Just great, just great. What are y'all doing? My favorite dish, I guess.
We are, John. Ambry's helping me. You remember Ambry,
Oh,
don't
how
you?
could I ever forget Amber? Getting another free cooking lesson, huh?
And how was that boat trip, John?
Oh, it was fantastic, but not as fantastic as the smells coming out of that skillet. What do y'all have in there so far?
We're making some oyster artichoke pastries here.
Oh,
One of your favorites, I
love that
know.
dish.
And Ambry's about to pour in our chopped artichoke there.
All right, I remember when you told me there was about 6 of them, and you
That's
just went
correct.
ahead and the hearts and the bottoms
hearts
and the
and the
leaves.
bottoms,
yeah.
right.
The ends of the leaves, yeah.
And we stir this around a little, and then we're going to put in our flour.
Oh, look at those
Make our
yellow
little
and red
roux.
bell
Isn't that
peppers. Isn't it
beautiful?
Now, you know, that's a
Absolutely.
good idea to put the flour in right at the end when
Yes,
it can
John.
pick up all of that good
Right,
flavor, huh?
exactly.
It's really, really nice. Really
All
good.
right.
So you're making a nice little roux there.
That's
yeah.
correct. And then we're going to put the liquid into our roux, which is naturally our oyster liquid.
Now, where do you get good oyster liquid from?
Well, John, you have to have a good source.
no,
I'm not going to share that one with you. About half of that, Ambry, is good.
all right. That looks good. That oyster liquid smells fantastic. Whew, look how it makes that nice
Very
velouté,
good.
that nice
Right.
white sauce there. So you're actually making a white
Yes.
sauce with oyster stock.
Yes, let's put a little bit more of those green onion tops in here.
Oh, that looks
Very
great.
good.
Oh, nice fresh green onions.
Yes,
Whew.
it's thickening
Look at the
up now.
colors in that dish. Huh?
Beautiful, absolutely. Oh, right, Ambry, I think we're going to go with a little cream in here to get
That's going to make
about
the
half
nice.
of that. Very good.
That's going to make a nice white sauce. Whew, look how beautiful that is. You can even make a soup out of this right now. You know, while that's all sauteing, let me ask you a couple questions about the bed and breakfast here, because this is such a fantastic, fantastic place. You know, the name of the house is Bois de Chenes. Where does that name come from?
That means wood of the oaks, John. If you drove in the driveway and saw us nestled here in this grove of oak trees, you would understand why we called it Bois de Chenes, oak woods, rather than the Charles Mouton bed and breakfast.
Yeah, I think I would prefer Bois de Chenes. It's so
Yes,
doggone
of
romantic
course,
sounding.
of course.
Now, you know, you found the house and decided you were going to buy it and put a B&B in it. Exactly what was that process?
It was intense and long and lovingly done.
So
A lot of hard work.
It's an ongoing process.
That's correct.
Huh? Now, if I remember right, you were in the antique business.
That's
Your husband
correct.
was a practicing geologist, so obviously this was a big career leap for
It
y'all.
certainly was. But if you love people, John, it was very easy. We get people from all over the world here at our breakfast table, and it's been the most rewarding thing of our lives, actually.
So but you have to enjoy people.
Of course you do.
Now Amber has this all gone. You need a little bit more stock in there,
yes,
you think,
a little
huh?
bit
Boy, that
more.
looks really,
Little
really
bit
nice.
more,
Put a little
you
more
think?
stock in there, and then those beautiful oysters, huh?
Ooh, yes.
Look at the size of that. Looks great right there.
Very
Oh,
good.
Look at those
Okay.
oysters over there. Beautiful.
Great. Okay, all the way in there.
That's about a dozen really nice oysters. Throw them in.
Gorgeous.
Oh, those are great. So this would just sit here and saute for just a little while.
That's correct.
Talking about food, since we're in this magnificent kitchen, what does a typical breakfast look like here?
A typical breakfast here would be something very Cajun, like pain perdu.
Oh, lost bread. French bread to the rest of the
French bread
world.
to
yeah?
the rest of the world. And our wonderful dark roast coffee, John, which our guests seem to enjoy from all over the world.
Now, what about what are guests looking for in food when they come to the heart of the Cajun Triangle here in Lafayette? I mean, they've read about our food, they've seen it on TV. What are they asking for?
Well, John, when I seat my guests at the breakfast table, they're talking about the dinners they had here the night before. So we have such wonderful restaurants here all around us, anything from very, very informal to the formal, all with our wonderful Cajun food.
So they come here looking for the ambiance, they come
That's
here looking
correct.
for the royal treatment, but they
Exactly.
definitely come looking for the food.
Besides New Orleans, this is the best
Oh,
place
that's
for
right.
food.
The heart-
you know
the-
that,
the
the
heart
heart of
of great food.
Acadiana. That's
Okay,
correct.
Amber, did you season this yet, huh?
Should I?
A little bit.
A little salt and pepper there,
Go
huh?
with it.
So how much are you going to put in there?
little bit of this, a little bit of that.
just like Grandma used to do,
Right.
y'all.
She's been taught well.
Yeah, I can't wait to taste this. Let me go ahead and get a little taste of that. Oh, fantastic.
All
Well, I'll tell you what, y'all go ahead and fill up my little pastry shell here.
okay,
And thank y'all so much for sharing that
John,
great recipe
you can
with
cook
me.
in our kitchen at any time.
Well, I appreciate that. And thanks to all of you for stopping by as we continue to visit the bed and breakfasts of the Bayou State and cook up more great Taste of Louisiana just like this. Hey, I have to try that.
Okay.
Well, I don't have to put this in the oven. I can go right at it, huh?
All right.
Oh, look at that, young.
Isn't that wonderful? What a taste.
To learn more about A Taste of Louisiana with Chef John Folse and Company, visit PBS online at the internet address on your screen. Hot beignets and warm boudoirs by Chef John Folse is available for $29.95. This companion book to the series features over 150 recipes. To order, call 1-800-973-7246 or write to the address on your screen.
Major funding for A Taste of Louisiana with John Folse and Company is made possible in part by Zatarain's authentic New Orleans-style dinner mixes. Zatarain's, a good way to jazz up dinner and a real New Orleans original since 1889.
Louisiana. She's the exception and never the rule. She's a mystery that asks not to be solved, but simply to be experienced. Louisiana, where you can come as you are and leave different. Additional funding is provided by the Friends of Louisiana Public Broadcasting and the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting.